So Bob Kronberg can't be here tonight. And
Correct.
Richard Meridian?
Correct.
Okay.
And Bob asked if I could give him your number. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of giving numbers, I suggested somebody call you.
He did.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was only about an hour.
That was after
It was,
the hour I got.
he's going after John next.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. It is 6 p.m. and I call to order the Planning Commission Wednesday, January 15, 2025 meeting to order in the community room. Is that where we are, Lisa?
Yep.
Okay, approval, wait a minute, roll call.
Tetmer?
Here.
Freed?
Here.
McSweeney?
Here.
Moss?
Here.
Robson?
Present.
Wilmot?
Here.
Newman?
Here. All right.
Okay, approval of minutes for December 18, 2024. Albert.
On page 3, just above the final page where it says zoning ordinance update, the paragraph before that, it begins with commissioners discussed. And then the end of that sentence says, ask if more, this is about overlay districts, ask if more would be added. I think when I asked the question, I said could be added of those districts. And I think John answered in the affirmative, that they could be. So I kind of like that in the minutes, that they could be.
So we'll change it to could.
Could, and then after future, something like,
Future may, wait a minute. Could be added in the future.
And then something like John,
It'll be a next paragraph down.
Right.
It'll just say that he
yeah.
responded that they
affirmative,
could be added. Yeah.
And then you could just start a new sentence where if that made, it could just be commissioners made, the third line of the, second line of the paragraph, if you want to, however you want to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, why don't we do it that way? Commissioners discuss the various overlay districts, asked if more could be added in the future. The city planner, however you want to say it, responded yes.
Yeah.
Or how, you can write it however you like. And then start the next one.
It usually is one
Commissioners.
paragraph with all the comments and then a response after, but either.
Do what
I'll
you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like that captured.
Okay.
Okay. I take a motion to,
I move the minutes be accepted.
okay, second?
I second.
Okay. Charlie made the motion, Max seconds, all in favor of approving the planning, the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Everyone voted aye. All right, moving on to, this is a public hearing. So, John, if you'd like to get us started.
Yeah, we went over this request at the December meeting from Buckley Boutique Gym. They are looking at leasing part of a building at 1019 Buckley Avenue. Because of the uniqueness of the facility, the zoning administrator did take this to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and their interpretation was that it was appropriate. And they also took a look at the parking, said the parking was in line with other personal services, along with the use. Looked at the standards for review. Commissioner Newman, you did provide me an additional comment on the 1717 standards for review, and I was remiss. I edited the staff report based on your comment, but then had told Lisa to use the copy that I had from the previous meeting. So, but in the review that I have, part of the record, I do have your comment relative to the. You had made a comment relative to the natural or man-made features on the property.
So where would that be and what was his comment?
Well, it was just the idea that the standard talked about the site and what was written really more reflected the building.
building.
And so I said, I thought that the comments should just reflect the fact that the standard was about the land use type, not the building as such.
Yeah. I prepared 3 proposed motions. From a planning review perspective, don't see any problem with the request. We've got 5 parking spaces. Planning Commission had asked it last month that they be delineated on the property. The applicant said that they were gonna do that. I didn't have any conditions to add based on what the plans were. So that's kind of the review. We went over it last month, and that's kind of a encapsulation this month.
Albert?
I just have a question on conditions. We had a discussion about, this would only be for the unit occupied by the applicant. Should that be in the conditions? I mean,
You
should
can
we
put- you can put
we could,
that in.
You know, should we specify that the special use only applies to the unit occupied by the applicant?
Yeah, I can put that in.
Okay, yeah, and I would either do that in conditions, or, I don't have any problem with a motion to approve with conditions, but I think since there's 3 units there, I don't want to be carte blanche without knowing what else could go in.
So how will you,
I just said.
so do we need to put that as a condition, that the language we put in?
I would, if you take a look at the first motion, I would suggest that we, let me just write it here real quick.
Okay.
Motion to approve the application submitted by Elijah Brumback to use the specific tenant space at 1019 Buckley Avenue for a boutique gym based on application submitted on November 21st, 2024, and the site plan entitled HSLT Factory Sheet A202.
That's fine.
Are the spaces individually numbered?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But the motion says the specific tenant space based on that plan.
Okay, so we took care of that. Any other questions? Elijah, do you have anything to say?
No, thank you for your time.
All right, okay. So I will bring it back for the
Public?
public hearing portion of this. And this is case number 56-24, special condition use request for a boutique gym at 1019 Buckley Avenue. So, do we have anyone that will be making public comment? Okay, I open the public hearing at 6:07. Is there any public comment? There is no public comment, so I close the meeting at 6:07. All right. So, moving on to discussion, motion.
I'm prepared to make a motion, if there's no
Okay.
other questions. I'm going to move to approve the application submitted by Elijah Plumbeck to use the specific tenant space at 1019 Buckley Avenue for a boutique gym based on the application submitted on November 21st, 2024, and the site plan entitled HSTL Factory Sheet A.202.
Second.
Okay, Charlie makes the motion. Albert makes the second, and in terms of discussion, I just wanted to light on the lack of a turnaround. And so it was suggested that maybe we require the use of reverse angle parking. Did anybody visit the site?
I drove by it.
Yeah, personally, I think it's too small and there's too many, so few parking spaces that, why bother? I mean,
Okay.
I think it's perfectly adequate.
And it sounded like it was gonna be appointment based.
Right, yeah, it seems perfectly adequate like it is to
You're
me.
not going to have more than 1 or 2 people in there at a time. So.
All right, so,
I wanted to know, because I stressed the fire lane access, but if there's only gonna be like 1 or 2 cars parked in front, I don't think that it would prohibit it.
Now it's pretty wide, and we've actually discussed potentially grading the front as well to provide some ancillary space, but it might not even be necessary at this point.
So in the memo, it says it's a personal service establishment. So what I'm wondering is, what if as this business gets started and you find that you can increase the class sizes you have, what would trigger the city to feel that the parking lot needed to be, something else needed to be done for the safety of the parking lot?
I would say it would probably be complaint-based.
Okay,
I mean, we're not gonna go out and police it,
right,
per se.
right.
But I'm sure if Lisa got a complaint from a neighbor, then we'd have to look at it.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty unlikely in Buckley.
Yeah.
Yes, very unlikely. Okay, and what about delineating parking spaces?
It would be nice, but I don't think, I agree with Planning Commissioner Newman, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, I just wanted to cover those two. Any more discussion? So roll call vote?
Let's see here, Detmer,
Yes.
Freed,
Yes.
McSweeney,
Yes.
Moss,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Wilmot.
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're gonna get a zoning permit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
I
it.
did.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Okay. All right, moving on. We have new business, case number 249-25, site plan amendment for North Central Michigan College, 1501 and 1525 Howard Street. And we have 4 members here. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Okay, I can start. I'm Andy Dancer, architect with Cornerstone Architects.
Todd Nemitz, architect with Cornerstone Architects.
I'm Tom Zidell, I'm Vice President for Finance and Facilities at the college.
I'm David Finley, I serve as president of North Central Michigan College. Thank you for considering this request.
Okay. So John?
Well, I was thinking in this instant, Madam Chair, if we just let Andrew and the folks from Cornerstone just make a brief presentation. They did give us a slideshow
Okay.
of the plans. They can go over the site plan, what their proposal is. I think that'll give you a better idea of what's going on, then I can get into my review.
Okay.
Yeah, so we prepared just a PDF. Essentially, it's the package that you have with the renderings that you see on the cover page going up at the end. So you all are probably familiar with this, but a quick zoning summary here. If we go to the next page, I can talk through the project at large. So the project is really 3 parts. So a new technology building, which is a building replacement essentially. Demolition of the existing technology building and new construction. That's the large orange building in the center there. Then the other building is in addition to the Health Education Science Center, primarily to service the growing nursing program at North Central Michigan College. The third part of it is we're making an accessible connection from the large parking lot at the north down to the HESC, the Health Education Science Center. Right now the site has a lot of stairs on it, so you'll notice that there's some grade changes that we have to accommodate to make that work. But the whole ramp is under 5%, which is considered a sloped walking surface. So the idea is that as part of these projects, we make it a more accessible campus. So those are the large portions of the project. Both projects top out at about 24 feet and are well beyond the required setback and below the 35-foot maximum. And based on the zoning, we're a zoned use. So if you have any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to talk about specific items.
Question. There are 2 sets of stairs currently from between the administration building and the HV, the maintenance building. Are both of those going to be eliminated, or just the lower set of stairs?
No, the stairs up top will have, the stairs will be maintained. Both sets of stairs will be reconstructed or maintained. And then adjacent to that will be the walkway that you see. So, sloped walkway.
So, there's a better plan that shows it, Charlie.
Yeah,
We're getting to it.
yeah,
It's
the
towards the end.
civil plans will, one more.
Yeah,
Yep,
there it is.
There's a set of stairs here, currently, rather large set of stairs here.
correct.
And then down here, there's another set of stairs, right?
Yep, and that one.
So this is gonna be eliminated here.
Nope, that one's shown as existing to remain, just to,
Here?
yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that'll remain in place, and the upper stairs will be divided, so stairs on the left to access the heating plant
oh,
there.
okay.
And then that path will continue.
Oh, so the old sidewalk here will remain as well?
It will,
Oh,
yep.
okay. I didn't understand that from the drawing.
Yeah, the new paths are shown with the hatch, and then the older, or the existing to remain are a little bit difficult to see. Happy to field any other.
When will the loop drive be installed? The continuation of the road?
Ring Road.
The ring
Yeah, the
road?
ring road.
When funding is available. We really want to do it. That's our,
Gotcha. So where was the new additional parking added that you spoke of?
Sorry, we are not.
Or
Okay,
not-
gotcha.
no,
Okay.
The loading area for the new
Okay.
tech building.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant?
An architectural comment, this really doesn't relate, I guess, to, what we're looking at as such in terms of a planning commission, but in thinking about the addition down there on the Health Sciences Building with the sloped columns, I wonder if that's an appropriate architectural element, at the college, because so many of the other, all the other columns around the campus are sort of traditional vertical columns. And I wonder if the leaning column motif is sort of a trendy thing now that will seem faddish a few years down the road, and that it might be better to kind of follow the existing character of columns on the campus that's there now. So for whatever that's worth, I'll just
Both of
mention
them,
that.
this one has an odd angle right on the entryway for the technology center too. You're talking about these.
Right.
Well, there's also, can you see that?
Yep.
It's a column that's at an
Right
angle.
here.
Just a thought to consider. It won't have anything to do with my approval of the larger concept.
And speaking of architecture, I felt that the technology building is really different than the rest of the architecture on the site. And it, within the master plan they have, there was language that says that they would use similar materials for buildings. So I don't know if anybody else was struck. It's a good looking building. It's also tucked away where it's not really going to be standing out. But in the future, are you planning on doing more buildings like this and doing away with the brick?
I would say that it's difficult for us to know that right now. Obviously, as times change and function changes, that may dictate something different.
So, do you have an opinion on that? How the
Well,
materials
I
are
think every
different?
new building should represent, current thinking. I mean, we like our old historic downtown buildings, but they came in several different eras and several different styles that are unique from each other. And they're all historic now, and they all work together as a downtown, and I think the same is true of the campus. It's sort of an amalgamation of the different eras in which it developed, and it should represent each of those eras. but it should also carry through a level of consistency and, you know, thematic sort of overall planning that I think it is doing.
Okay.
Cynthia, I'll share, we discussed this morning using the teal color as an accent to tie in with those existing roofs
Mhm.
and how that would help the buildings tie together. Again, they need to be unique and functional to serve their purpose, but you're right, we don't want an eyesore in the middle of two things we like.
Well, I'm not calling it an eyesore
Not at all.
by any stretch. I'm just saying,
No offense, guys.
it's very different in color and material than what you've had in the past.
But if you look at campuses all over the country,
Oh, I agree.
most of them are a joyous mix of architectural styles.
Right.
I mean, just think of MIT and the architectural variation there. So whatever path they choose to go, I think is a good one.
Okay.
I noticed on the commentary from your meeting with Lisa and maybe John, that you guys were discussing the use of precast panel. Are these all like Aluka bond where the dark gray is, or is
Yeah.
it tilt
Yeah.
up?
No, correct. It's all actually cold form walls, so stud walls, and it's just a cast stone veneer. So it's essentially a precast veneer panel assembled much like a brick veneer would go on a.
The dark gray.
Sorry, the light gray is the cast stone, or sorry, the banding around the base, and then the large element on the left side of the image there. And then the dark gray is all metal panel, so like the Aluka bond.
Didn't you, wasn't it requested that there was limited use of any type of sheet metal, Aluka bond, and it was recommended that you use more traditional materials like brick, stone, and
I know the
glass?
zoning references corrugated metal, but
I can't find the
I
commentary.
was
so
not
can't-
aware
It's-
that would be new.
It's on page 2.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm just being hypercritical of that because as it continues to age and fade, that looks so terrible, in my opinion, but, again, it's just use of material, I guess.
Is
Going
there-
back to that, I'm not sure.
Is there maintenance that you can keep on top of so it doesn't become faded?
Yeah, the modern metal panels, I'll say are much better than the early metal panel systems. Much like the blue roofs throughout campus, they age quite well. Will have a slight patina to them, but as far as maintenance, I'm not aware of anything other than keeping them clean and maintaining them from a cleanliness point of view.
So, let's start in order. On the maple trees, the 6 inches getting replanted and the 4 inch is not. What,
Yeah,
is there a reason?
not necessarily, other than I have to look into that specific tree, but I knew the 6 inch. I think in the zoning it calls out for anything above. Forget the exact.
5 inches.
Oh, okay, so it's the inches that made it.
Yeah, that's under,
Expendable.
that's under section 2C, open space and site landscaping.
Well, am I right in thinking that the applicant will be back before us with more comprehensive landscape plans at some point relative to this project?
Well, yeah, that's part of my review is that landscape plan, and then we also have to have some disclosure, and I think they're working on it relative to what kind of, if they're gonna put any exterior lighting in,
And
so,
signage.
and signage. you have to remember that this site plan's being reviewed under Article 33, which is the college district, which requires a campus site master plan. And then under the site plan approval, it's got conditions for buildings and open space and site landscaping, circulation and perimeter screening that all have to be addressed.
Signage was actually approved in '22.
But
Right, but they'll
So-
have to,
they'll have to
they
be
have
with
signage
on the building.
on the
I gotcha.
buildings, which I did want to remind everyone that even though we'll be approving this, we will not be approving the signage that's shown here. That has to be done separately, and they have a sign master plan.
Yeah, the way that the district is set up is that there are site plan requirements particular to the district, which is the building, open space, parking and perimeter, and then they also have to follow the site performance standards in the site plan, which they have. And the ones that I've pointed out are primarily landscaping plan, signage, and a disclosure on the lighting. I couldn't find those in the plans. I'm sure as they prepare their construction set, they'll resolve those, but then they need to just submit those pages to Lisa. We can, and back to the planning commission for review, but at this point, I'm not recommending that we table anything pending those. Those are just some details that we need to finish up on. I did put together for the commission 3 motions: motion to approve, motion with conditions, motion to deny. I would recommend motion to approve with conditions. Conditions would be submission of a landscape plan, disclosure if any exterior lighting will be used in the project, what the photometrics are gonna be, and then submission of a signage plan for the buildings that have to be reviewed. Those are the 3 conditions that I found as part of this review.
Okay.
So moved.
Well, hold on a minute. All right, so we need to go through the district standards and Albert.
I don't know if it's appropriate time to do it when you get to the motion. But my question on your motion to approve with conditions, which I think is appropriate, is under number 2, disclosure of any exterior lighting. Why do we have if applicable? So no matter what, they're gonna have a plan.
Well, when I looked at the plan, sometimes these buildings, depending on, the campus already has lighting, that they may not have lighting. It could be just the lighting from the building itself.
Right, but still.
But I
that would
didn't
be-
see in the plan any light poles
Right.
to determine if there was lighting
Right.
around the area.
Right, but no matter what, we're gonna have to look at lighting.
We're gonna have to look at lighting.
So I don't know that we need the if applicable statement.
Right.
My only thing on the motion.
Okay.
Okay, well, we can delete if applicable when the person needs it. We'll acknowledge that. Yeah, and any lighting they do on the building, we
Yeah.
also need to see. All right, so we need to review the standards. So you just go through with the site plan approval, or you didn't, let's see. This is set up a little differently than the way we've done it in the past. So it's described like this, and then we decide whether the standards been met or
Well,
not.
that's the response. The response is whether the standard has been met.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, here it is right here. The new technology building materials consist of a precast concrete veneer metal composite panels. The HESC building has similar materials, but also includes brick to match the existing building. Well, I don't really know how to do this. Condition, so the condition is exterior materials should be of a finished appearance and quality construction, the use of corrugated metal, concrete blocks, sheet metal, and colored plaster or fiberglass shall be limited.
The condition is the standard, and
Yeah.
then the response is
Right.
the review.
I know, but we need to review this as a planning commission.
Why don't we just run through it all?
What?
Why don't we just go through it?
Yeah. Such factors as whether the building is an accessory structure, blah, blah, blah. So, well, it's true they're using, they're using things that it's recommended they be used in a limited, and in the tech building, it's less than limited. But I think is the consensus that the materials they've chosen are acceptable.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So the buildings, conditioned to the extent practical, buildings shall be situated to fit the existing site rather than imposed on the landscape in a manner that requires a significant alteration of site grades. However, this standard may be waived. So I went and did a site. They really aren't even seen from any of the neighborhoods, or they're on the internal of the property. So I don't think any of that is an issue. So standards met. Open spaces and site landscaping, all areas of site not occupied by buildings, parking, streets, pathways, plazas, shall be landscaped in character with the adjoining campus or retained in a natural response. And there is no landscape plan, and we are requesting that they provide one in the future. The standard, in conjunction with any new building or building addition, foundation plantings consisting of a combination of shrubs, ground cover, flower beds, planting of flower shrubs shall be used to highlight driveway ingress points and building entrances. Such vegetation should be clustered again. It'll be met in the future. Condition existing vegetation that is healthy and suitable for landscaping objectives shall remain undisturbed. Existing trees 5 inches in diameter or greater should be retained. That standard has been met. Open site and landscaping. Landscaping shall be irrigated and maintained. Well, it has to do with the site plan for the landscaping. Parking and circulation doesn't apply because they aren't doing anything in terms of circulation and loading. Perimeter screening, the pros building, addition to HESC and the new technology building are located in the interior of the campus and not within 80 feet of the perimeter screen. So that does not apply. Oh, here we go. Now it's set up. So building and accessory uses, the city will review building locations with consideration of on-site and off-site conditions, and that has been met based on what we've discussed. Ingress and egress, not applicable. Landscaping and buffering, they'll provide a landscape plan in the future. Lighting, they'll provide a landscape plan in the future. Natural and historic features really that had no impact. Parking, there's no additional parking. Sidewalks, the new sidewalks are shown on sheet, so that is satisfied. Signage will be future submission, and trash storage, again, not applicable because it isn't part of it, and utilities. And they did do it so that they would avoid burial snow plowing.
Yep.
Very good, so that public safety did that. So, any more discussion? So, ready for a motion?
I'll move motion number 2, motion to approve with conditions. I move to approve the site plan submission from North Central Michigan College related to a new addition to the Health Education Science Center building and the demolition and construction of a new technology center per site plans dated 12/18/24 for project 23.102 with the following conditions. 1, submission of a landscape plan that complies with section 3307. 2, disclosure of any exterior lighting used in the project and submission of a lighting plan, period. And 3, submission of a signage plan.
Okay.
I second.
Okay. Rick made the motion. Charlie seconded. Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Robson,
Yes.
Wilmot,
Yes.
Detmer,
Yes.
Freed,
Yes.
McSweeney,
Yes.
Moss,
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughtful consideration of our request. We appreciate your support.
Looking forward to the groundbreaking.
All right.
Just a
February
curiosity.
3rd, 2 p.m.
Right. Just a curiosity question. I would have expected this to come before us, given how far along the actual site has gone, 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I just was curious about the timing of it.
We were putting final pieces together, is probably the best.
Yeah.
Andrew,
The- We were going through some costing and adjusting footprints as necessary. The original addition was, had a goal to be a little bit bigger. And so we wanted to make sure that we had the footprints buttoned up before we submitted to your
And the money.
Exactly. Price is more than double.
Unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, the applicant did, the applicant and the applicant's architects did have a meeting with the administrative team on November 21st to go over some of the preliminary site plan review stuff, and that's where they got comments from Jason Fate, the engineer, myself, and then Lisa and Carl from Public Safety. So yeah, it's been in the works for a while, a couple of months, at least from our side.
It's sad that everything's taking so long and costing so much.
Okay, Albert?
I just want to say that I'm a 1976 graduate of the respiratory therapy program, that no longer exists. And this has nothing to do with our approval or anything like that. Will the health science, will the VEP specifically be nursing, or can EMS or future, I also happen to be on the Patient Family Advisory Council for McLaren, and I know how short-staffed they are. Will these be shared spaces with other programs at some point, or is the nursing program?
Yeah, the short answer is yes.
Okay.
We're looking to do even more in the allied health and sciences area.
Good.
Yep.
I started my career there and spent 41 years doing respiratory therapy.
Excellent.
Spent my last 36 teaching respiratory therapy
Okay.
at Kalamazoo Valley Community College. In my last 3 years at the Simulation Center in our campus down there.
Very good.
So
Max,
excited to see this go.
Max?
I was just curious what you're seeing per square foot.
Cost-wise?
Have to do the math. It varies based on, like, the addition obviously is less costly. We're not running new utilities or anything. But the new tech,
The rough number rattling in my head is $750.
A square foot?
Yeah.
All in all.
all in, yeah.
Or it's probably sprinklered maybe, or.
It was, spring.
Other
Topography has some
Challenge.
challenge.
Just the technology for Simulation Center is a lot of money per square foot.
Yeah.
Am I still gonna be able to get me and my dog between the air handlers and the tech building?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
well, actually,
They don't want you over there.
paved route.
Unleash, of course.
So does, what is KT, is that an acronym, or?
Career and Technical Education Enhancement. And I think we actually, I'm looking at Tom, cooked that up down in Lansing, and it, what, 5, 6 years ago?
Yeah,
6?
as part of capital outlay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some outlay a
Exactly.
lot,
Right.
is to try to describe what they're looking to fund.
Exactly. Tech and trades and healthcare is high on the list.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's great.
Thanks again.
Yeah,
Really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to zoning ordinance updates. We finished chapter 15, and that will be coming here at our next
After
meeting.
your next meeting,
At our next meeting. Chapter 15 has a lot of new stuff, so.
chapter 5.
Article 5,
Oh,
chapter 5.
You're right, chapter 5.
Article fund.
Article
General
5.
provisions.
General provisions, so there's a lot in it, and we spent a lot of time on it. And so you can get on the website. Did you sent to everyone,
Yes.
or just the zoning ordinance committee?
Just the committee right now.
Okay,
Is it up, it's up on the website now, though?
No, it'll probably by Monday, it'll be up on the web.
okay, so I do recommend before, you might want to get on the website and start looking at things and get familiar with,
I
because there's some new
can,
concepts.
I
in
can
it.
just send the planning commission a copy of it. You don't have to go to the website, I'll just send it to you.
Yeah, and just get familiar with it, and
You're talking about what I got today from you? Or
Yes,
yes, for that,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
A lot of
so-
red. There was a lot of red in it.
Well, there's the red line and then there was a finished
The
copy.
clean copy, yeah.
Clean copy.
Anyway, lots of good stuff. But so anyway, set aside time,
When are you meeting again?
What's that?
the 21st
21st.
at 10 a.m.
The last
here.
couple I have not been able to.
The, in addition to the zoning ordinance update, we made a presentation on January 6th to City Council to get them up to date. And then they were all sent copies of the 5 articles that have already been through Planning Commission for their review and comment, so.
Did you get any feedback?
Most of the emails were,
Hurry up.
most were thank you. Oh, the feedback at the City Council meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got feedback. One planning commissioner was,
You mean city council?
or city council member was hoping that we would be further along. The
that.
mayor's position was, take your time, let's make sure everybody's comfortable. But, I think overall, Cynthia, you were there, I thought their comments were pretty good.
I saw it on Zoom, I thought,
Yeah, it was fine.
yeah, it was.
It was a good presentation. John did a good job of explaining
So-
everything. So, to finish up on zoning ordinance updates, we're gonna be looking at Article 12 and 13, which I don't think are as in-depth, that it's pretty common stuff, so that I hope we get through pretty quickly. I know John does.
Just, and refresh my memory, when did we start the process?
We had our kickoff meeting with the council on a Saturday in April of '24.
Okay, so we're not even a year
No, we're
into
not
it, and the
into it.
projection is 2 years, right? Isn't that?
Yes.
I think
That
part of
was-
the grant was less than.
The
No, the
grant,
grant's for 2 years.
Yeah, so we're okay.
Oh, of course we are. But
Yeah.
some people like things to go faster.
Well, there's a lot of map work to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
I think, if you watch the council meeting, I think some of the council is really interested in the districts and the consolidation, and that they're really kind of interested in what we're gonna come up with as a commission. I explained to them that we decided to do that last, because that's kind of the heavy lifting and more of the public stuff. We wanted to go through the administrative articles and the
Boilerplate.
the procedural articles first. So I think they got it, but I know some of them are really anxious about getting into policy,
Right.
duplexes, triplexes.
Well, some of them would just
Consolidate.
like to get rid of the zoning code altogether.
Yeah, and we're not gonna get there. but-
Oh, I'd be out of a job. Oh, wait, I would have to do meeting minutes later. This might be a win-win.
John,
Save money too.
I don't know where this will go in the whole zoning update. But, you presented 4 overlay zones, and we've had from the minutes before that we could add more.
Yeah.
And I will say that I've scanned Article 5, but I haven't been through the new version, and some of the other general provisions. But will there be, either in that overlay zone area or in someplace in the general provisions, like how the zoning, the process for adding an overlay zone? So let's say the zone gets, we do all of our stuff here, and then somebody wants to put an overlay zone on Michigan Street for some reason.
Okay,
You know,
so,
by the schools, they want to put an overlay zone for the schools. I mean, we should have some kind of process by which you would bring up an overlay zone and put it in. I mean, it sounds like it should be simpler than,
well, the process, Al, would be amending the zoning code. So we would write a new section,
Okay.
which would then go into that Article 4, the
Okay.
overlays.
all right, so that-
The reason why we reorganized the zoning code into specific articles, depending on content, if you look at the current code, you're not gonna find the college district until Article 33.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta go the last 3 pages to find it. So the new ordinance is set up that is, different parts are added, they go into the appropriate
Right.
article so everything is always together. So all the overlays would be together, they wouldn't be scattered throughout. But it's just a process, just like doing the short-term rental ordinance.
Right, okay.
We would do it, and then we'd stick it in. Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understood how they would work. If they wanted to do it.
No, and I think the planning commission is part of the deliberation later, as we get closer to the end. I know that there's some discussion about view sheds,
Right.
for example. We may not be able to get them into this codification, but when it goes to city council, when they get a background paper on it, we should notify them that we need to get this adopted, but the planning commission's got these 2 or 3 things
Right.
that they want to spend more time on.
Well, if we move forward with the area where Hobby Lobby and that is, you know.
Correct.
That was when it was originally done back in the 80s. The reason that's in a hole was to allow the view shed.
Yeah.
And yet, and I will tell you that everything I'm hearing, we do need, I'm not against at all more housing in the appropriate place. Let me start with that, but I don't want, I would hate to see a 14, not 14, even a 40-foot building blocking the view into town. You know, that's just part of our, that's my own bias, but.
Would historic districts be overlays?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So the question then, the follow-up question I have on that is, and we've had some discussion about historic districts and what's involved. Have you heard anything more about the sentiment of either council, because council did start years ago with appointing a committee for downtown historic.
Yeah, I've got to push the issue with them, and I think, you know, I'm in the process of, I got to finish it up. I'm in the process of doing your 2025 annual report to council. It's going to be in there. But we need to do that.
Yes.
And, you know, and that's going to be a money commitment, not for me. There's special consultants out there that do the historic district stuff. Rick knows that. They're pre-qualified by
The idea
state
was
historic
posed to me
preservation.
today that the city council, DMV, and the planning commission have a joint presentation regarding historic districts and the advantages.
And I know the person to do it. I've already talked to her about if we get there, if she'd be interested.
So the seeds have been set for that, and
The seats have.
and we don't necessarily have to wait until this process is
No,
over to get
we
that
can,
started.
we can do that concurrently. And we should. There's a lot of areas in town that could be on a national register district.
Following up on that, has there been any further progress on the downtown architectural standards? The
You
booklet?
mean the guidelines?
Guidelines, yeah.
Well, we're incorporating them into, by reference, you know, into
I
the
understand, but
ordinance.
I thought they were gonna be updated first, potentially.
They're
Well-
gonna be updated by staff is gonna reorganize it
Well,
to make it.
Lisa did
Lisa did reorganize.
reconfigure it. I mean, when I went back through it, I only found one conflict, and that had to do with height. The height that's stated for downtown buildings is different than what the ordinance.
So it doesn't need to go back to the downtown
No.
architectural committee or whatever it was that created that in the first place?
No, I don't think so. I mean, because we've already, I mean, the committee's proposing to adopt that
Yeah.
by reference.
And council was informed of that at the presentation.
Right?
We'll have to figure out some way to
That's
handle
forward.
that height disparity question, or that height difference question. I
We've got to
guess.
make sure they're just consistent, yes.
Yeah, because they are not
Okay,
consistent.
no, because
right
Lisa
now.
reorganized it, we could go in and just change it in the guideline book.
I just reformatted, I didn't.
Or we could just put in there, Rick, I mean, we could put in there that the height of the building has to be consistent with the zoning code.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be the easiest.
right.
That's the easiest way to
in the
do it.
future.
Just to eliminate any
Yeah.
reference to
Yeah.
Yeah,
height.
height,
in the
yeah,
guidelines.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, more to come, guys, but it's moving along.
Because I'm assuming that if those things are in place, as an example, we wouldn't be having the issues with 106 Mitchell that we're potentially facing. In other words, any purchaser of 106 Mitchell would have to follow the standards, which
The
may not
only way
happen.
now, if I'm not mistaken, the only way now they would follow standards if they ask for a facade grant.
Right.
But if they don't ask for a facade grant, they don't have.
106 Mitchell is the yellow Beck house?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's not protected in any manner
That's
right
not.
now. It's not on the National Register, but even being on the National Register really wouldn't protect it unless you're using federal money or a federal license to affect it. In other words, if, let's say, MDOT wanted to come through and widen 31 and make it a 6-lane highway, and they wanted to cut into the front yard of 106, well, that would be a federal license or a federal project that would affect a historic building if it were listed on the National Register.
Right.
But other than a project like that, even being listed on the National Register really doesn't prevent anybody from
Right, which is
tearing it down.
presumably,
Or altering it.
any local historic district we set up would
Right.
have more teeth in it.
Oh, yes, lots more.
And so
It's the
we
only
wouldn't be
way-
in the situation that we are now.
A
The
local
council,
historic district is really the only way we can affect.
right, and the only thing council can do now is that 90-day right of refusal
90-day option.
option, yeah.
And then
Which
the,
doesn't give them much time to find a good fit.
no, but in the proposal, it says that, you know, part of the reason for doing it is to protect the historic and architectural integrity of the building.
Absolutely, but we don't have any teeth in it to help them do that.
Some communities have created like a revolving fund where you can go, you know, get a bunch of money from foundations and have a pot of money that you can then go buy the Beck house and take it off the market and hold on to it until you find the suitable, you know, and then resell it at no profit to some suitable person or entity that would redo it the right way.
Yeah.
Like Charleston and Savannah and some of those places have these kind of revolving funds that are used like that. I mean, typically they're in bigger communities than Petoskey.
Savannah, my daughter lives there, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You come, there's a street called Doreen, and Savannah's set up weird, but if you go one direction from Doreen on, you could be any place in Grand Rapids on 28th Street or Kent or any of the, it's all malls and car dealerships, and you cross this line, and it's
And
like
then
you've
you're
gone back.
in the old
Yeah.
district, yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Well,
It's
Savannah's
absolutely-
the only city in the country that's laid out in that square
Oh,
grid
yeah.
arrangement.
It's the first planned city in
Yes.
the country.
I'm sorry, are you saying Savannah?
Savannah.
And, okay, you lost me in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, you
Well, I'm saying, when you go up the other side of
Yeah,
Doreen,
the
you could be at
promenade.
any strip mall part of any city.
Anywhere
Anywhere in the
USA,
USA.
yeah.
There's Home Depot, there's,
Okay, I
there's,
see.
But the old historic city is.
all the,
Still intact.
every
Yeah.
car dealer, it's like somebody just drew a line and on this side, it's.
Well, that's what Petoskey could be, you know,
Well-
our downtown is quite unique,
Right.
even around the Midwest in terms of its integrity, its architectural and
And here you can
historic
kind of do it at
integrity.
Sheridan Street. You
I
know,
was just looking up things to do downtown last week on this board. And our historic district is listed, I think, as #1 on TripAdvisor, the Gaslight downtown.
Gaslight
So-
district, but yet it's not protected.
Yeah, and it's falling down.
yeah.
All right, there are no public comments, so we'll move on to commissioner comments. I'm gonna choose to start. So you're preparing the annual report?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody take classes this year or do any educating? Okay. I would like to request the city council give us a budget so that the commissioners can do webinars at their convenience. And it would be the basic webinars like, you know, zoning, just the usual ones that MSU offers.
Harbor Springs is likely gonna sponsor planning and zoning essentials.
Okay,
And it's probably gonna be in April. And they're gonna invite the surrounding
Right.
communities because there's a lot of new planning commissioners everywhere.
right.
So it'd be a good opportunity for new planning commissioners to attend.
But I would really like to, we used to have required education credits, I think. And, you know, and some of the stuff they had as requiring education was pretty flimsy. But the webinars, I do 6 a year. They're very good. I like doing them not when they're live, because then I can, you know, really take notes and study. So, you know, it might be 2 hours of your time if you do what I do, which is go through it slowly. They last about an hour. And I really would like all the planning commissioners to have the basic background for those basic planning commission courses. And there's maybe 5 of them.
We
So-
do have a budget for educational purposes.
Okay,
It
but,
is shared amongst the planning commission and zoning board of appeals, so,
okay,
15 people. It's not huge, but
right.
it's definitely being underutilized.
So
So if
I
there's
would
something
kinda-
someone's
And
interested
as long as
in,
you're not sending us on a trip to Las Vegas, you might be able to cover it.
well, only if I can, no, I'm kidding.
At least
No,
they have- at
the
least they have
budget's
to
not that
volunteer.
big, you wouldn't get that far. But no, if there are,
We're all members because the city
Mm-hmm.
pays for that, so I think I pay $10 a webinar, so it's not cost prohibitive. Anyway, I pay
so if
for
that's
my
something you
own.
want to do, just
I
let me
do
know.
want to do.
And we can get you signed up for those, or,
No, I just pay for those on my own, I do it every year.
okay, I'm just letting you know, there is a budget.
Okay.
There is money set
Well,
aside
I'd
for
like to use
education,
that
so.
budget to get everybody up to speed. So, but I think the webinars are a good answer because you can do it on your own time.
Is there a particular order that you should do them in? Because I would be more than happy to get started, because I feel I need
Right.
that.
The basic courses, they're all important, doesn't really matter.
MSU or MAP?
MSU,
Because MAP also has,
Yeah,
The
if
MAP has-
MAP and
MAP, yeah.
MSUE get together and sort of do
Yeah.
at their con.
zoning essentials, that's a combined program, isn't it?
Planning and zoning essentials is a combined program.
Right.
It takes about 2.5 hours.
So that'd be a good one to start with.
And that's the one that.
Well, that Harbor Springs is gonna
Oh,
sponsor it, so
okay.
there'll be an instructor that's up here.
And you'll let us know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
so in that one, they usually do those like at the county building.
Yeah,
If there's
they're
enough
either the
people.
county or they may have it at the college.
Well, didn't I
Oh,
read
okay.
something in today's paper, wasn't it, that, or was it yesterday's? Doesn't matter, that the program is gonna also be done on Zoom, so that it can have better community
Some.
involvement.
Some are in person, some are Zoom,
Mhm.
some are webinar.
Well, I know the normal courses, some are in person and some are in Zoom, but the paper specifically said, in an effort to increase visibility, transparency, and community involvement, that they were gonna be Zooming a lot of this.
Zooming a lot of,
The Harbor Springs tutorials that are going to be done to try and educate the populace.
Oh, no, they're doing,
That's something
they're
different.
doing,
Their zoning ordinance review.
they're doing a bunch of listening sessions in February. That was probably in the paper. They're doing about 15 of them for like an hour and a half. Just so people have questions about the proposed zoning code, they can come in and talk about it. But yeah, they're gonna Zoom some of them because people, they have a lot of seasonal people and they're complaining that, they don't get
Oh,
involved
right.
in local government,
Do
so
we need to take any pages from that book?
not really.
Okay.
I'll let you know if I do.
Just don't go down that path.
Just don't go down that path.
No,
We did talk about last time how many houses in Petoskey are not occupied seasonally. I don't know how we let the public know we have a public hearing, but I've been to 3 public hearings now with nobody here.
Well,
It's
I mean,
published in the
the
paper
notices
as
go
It's in the
well.
paper, okay.
It's posted on our
What's
website.
the website, so, but unless you follow the website, or it's not.
The
it's
people
just
who get
always-
And
notices
notifications.
often don't care.
Yeah.
So the neighborhood, you have to be around 300 feet.
Until they see the building go up, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
we've been down this path,
Oh, yeah.
Albert, a
I
number of
know.
times.
I know.
About, and the determination, right or wrong, is that we follow the state
Statute.
guidelines
Yeah.
for notification,
Okay.
because to do otherwise
Okay,
puts us in a tentative situation.
all right, so there were.
And so it's minimal, in my opinion, but it is what it is, and to do more
Right, you can't do it, yeah.
is
Yeah,
risky.
yeah. But we always have NIMBY as my.
Well, you're always gonna have NIMBY at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter.
No matter how transparent it is, they're still gonna come in and bitch when you pass it.
And say they didn't know. All right, any other commissioner comments?
My only comment was, you all probably have seen this already, but I had been out west on Charlevoix Avenue to realize that the only one of 3 completed medical marijuana establishments that was finished is now for sale.
It's such.
I should rent it as a curling warming hut.
That is beautiful.
You might get a deal.
Yeah,
Took
it's,
forever to
well,
build that. I'd like to
it's
know
so
what kind of
unfortunate
money
that
they
they
have
tore
into
down,
that thing.
Unfortunately, yeah, Buds of Petoskey.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, well, the sign
Just
is
the
now,
sign alone
the
is
sign is
expensive.
gone now, or covered up.
it's covered up.
Yeah.
And that's so big, did that Is that the standard? That's allowable? That sign just feels way too big.
Small building.
Yeah, maybe that's
It's pretty
it.
close to the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, so, updates?
I'm good.
Oh, what were you telling us about the lumber square building?
The walls, interior
Walls.
Oh,
walls.
interior walls.
No, the interior walls weren't plumb.
So what do they have to do?
Correct it, I'm assuming.
Will that cost a fortune?
The county building inspector will make sure that
They do it?
They're all
Talk about
Floor
unfortunate.
Oh,
I know, I
maybe,
read that
maybe the
article,
wind,
like,
you know,
oh
maybe there was some
It's like some of those panelized walls must not be.
Oh, really?
quite
The
strong or
structural.
something.
Yeah, that's what it said.
And people were saying it was the foundation, but I've heard that it's not the foundation. It's
Oh,
actually-
Yeah, that's.
No, the
that's-
foundation
The
is-
foundation's
Foundation's
good.
up, but they have, you know, Facebook's full of inaccuracies.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, and it's not gonna get better either.
Oh, no, no.
All right, well, at,
Listen, do you want
7
these
o'clock.
for any reason? Do we keep them? Because I'm sick of
all right,
That's a lot of
I
paper.
adjourned this meeting at 7 PM.
I can recycle it if you don't want to keep
I'll
it.
keep it.